Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Kajing don kti jong kisama kan thei hakakam Khaïi Drok kham tam hanong ba shlong kalong ka ei ka bas ngokhia na ka benta ki bor Pulit pat tang Hapoh han reu banai ki Pulit ki layo ban kem ya arpo han reu ngot ki thei Khaïi Drok na lor ki shispa khandai ngot ki samna shnrang yakane le ya tho do Director General of Police ka Jylla Dr. LR Bishnoi IPS Hagajing along rakhe ya ke International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking ha usoso tham auditorium. Hagani gasngi le don langru menteri rangba ke Jylla Konrad kongkol sangma ubalalong kum kongsan usumbut menteri rangba uba preston tunsong ubadai pet ya Tnat ki kampo yeng ki officer ki he Pulit na lor ki nong Trei jong Tnat social welfare lembat kiwei pan. Hagani ka jingalang le yatai sani bha hakabede bat kumno ban te lakam bat ban pentip marmar ki bor Pulit lingba ki kor ki bor jong ka juk ka pementa balaya keren ru halor ka thong Trei kam jong ka sarkar banyak hun persya yu Drok lingba ka drug reduction elimination and action mission lani ka dream jong ka Meghalaya drug abuse prevention policy jong snem arajar arpo Nakaliang Menteri Rangba Konrad Sangma hagani ka sngi ula palai pai baru ya ka drug free Meghalaya app baru la IT ya ki drug detection kits sya ka anti narcotic task force para ka juk ka por ula pen kuburam ru iki seng bat ki reo shimat ki bay khun persya ya udrong bat ya ki dekhot jong ka kinhon anti narcotic task force hagani ka sngi la palai pai baru ya ka jingruai ya ka bala ai kerteng turn the tide jong ki khaki vibes.
Wonder express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Chief Ministers for readily accepting our proposals to be the Chief an International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Every year, as per United Nations General Assembly resolutions, 26 June is celebrated as an International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. The UN General Assembly long back in 1987, they have decided to observe this day by keeping the grave drug scenario throughout the world. 26 June is fixed because on this day, the Commissioner of China, Lin Jiaxu, he dismantled the godowns and stores of the opiums, and the tons of opium were destroyed. So just to honor his commitment, the UN General Assembly adopted that 26 June will be celebrated. The objective, as it is evident from the slides, the main objective is to create an international society free from the drug abuse. As on today, there are 195 countries in the world. And out of 195 countries, we can say only Vatican City is the only country which is free from drug abuse, and rest all countries are in the serious grips of drugs. So this is not a local problem, this is not a national problem, but it is a global problem. Theme is people first, stop stigma and discrimination, and strengthen prevention. So we should not stigmatize and discriminate people or drug abusers and their family. We should adopt the empathy and sympathetic approach towards the drug abusers. So there are 5 aims I have highlighted in the slides, basically to create massive awareness throughout the world so that the masses should be aware about the ill effects of the drug abuse. Secondly, about the awareness about the AIDS voluntary services, not on the generalized base, but evidence-based by using the technology. And then we have Golden Triangle is the border area of Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar. It's a huge area of 12 lakh square kilometer where the poppy cultivation is done abundantly, and this area remains very, very poorly administered area. And they have set up a lot of manufacturing unit where the raw opium is processed and converted into morphine and heroin, and then whole world is bombarded with the supply of heroines. Then we have a porous border. The state of Meghalaya is having almost 884 kilometers with Bangladesh and 441 kilometers with the state of Assam. The border is not 100% fenced, so that is why the traffickers, they use advantage of the porous border. Then there is a large presence of the consumers here. I will tell you in the next slide. And then interstate gangs or interstate network is in operations. And then the problem is fastly spreading from the urban areas to the rural areas, and also from male populations to female populations. And then easy availability is creating problems. And because it is a huge lucrative business, it generates tremendous amount of money. So that is why the youth, once they are in trafficking business, it will be impossible to come out of it because greed overpowers them. And then poor infrastructures, particularly in the far-flung remote areas. And then of course the Meghalaya is a matrilineal state. It has some specific social factor which also contribute towards this problem. Flinching sport, the Meghalaya police has undertaken a massive drive to generate awareness among the masses, and during last 15 days, that is known as Nasha Mukt Bharat Pakhwada, we have organized 1,263 awareness program in school, colleges and other places, and this is the national record. In the morning, I have confirmed from the Narcotics Control Bureau, and I am thankful to Honorable Chief Minister. Honorable Chief Minister has tweeted and appreciated Meghalaya Police for creating the national record by organizing so many programs only during the 15 days time.
The guest of honor for today's program, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister in charge Home, Shri Preston Tinsong, our respected DGP, Shri Bishnoi, our Additional Chief Secretary, and all the other officials of the government, and all the other officials and officers. This very, very important program that we're having today. We have seen in the presentations that have been given today by the DGP and by others that there is now a concerted effort to ensure that Meghalaya becomes drug-free. And this thought process has started quite some time back. This particular initiative and the work that we are seeing that's happening for the past years, couple of years, is part of a larger strategy, I should say, of ensuring that we come out with a complete policy or a program for the youth. I have repeated this in many of my statements and my speeches before, that we are developing our policies and programs by keeping the people who matter at the center of the decision that we take. The thought process with which we have been creating and policies and making programs and taking actions is no longer scheme-based, is no longer a program-based. The decision is based on the respected stakeholder, whether it's the youth of our state, whether it's the women of our state, whether it's the farmers of our state. We realize that until and unless we don't put these stakeholders at the center of our decision making, our policies and programs will not have the desired impact that we want. And hence, when we came out with this youth policy, we realized that apart from ensuring that policy that is there in generic for the youth, it must be very broad. Not only are we talking about education, which is very, very important for us, but we need to also realize that sports and music plays an important role in a child's upbringing. We also realize that we can't complain about the youth and the problems that they're facing when they become very, very, much older, like in their teens and maybe in adult. We need to realize that the policies and programs starts very, very early, even as early as the time when they are still in their mother's womb. And hence we have been developing this kind of comprehensive policies. The reason I'm telling you this is you need to realize that this program that you're seeing today is not just because today is drug-free, drug abuse and illicit trafficking day, which is being organized by Government of India, Meghalaya and the whole world and the UN. This is happening because it is part of a plan. It's not just a single program that's happening. It's part of a much larger picture to ensure that we are able to bring out productive, responsible, healthy youth for the future of the families, for the future of our state and for our country. We realize that no matter what we do, whether the hundreds and crores we spent in terms of the sports infrastructure that is there, or whether we create multiple people's colleges that are coming up everywhere, whether we repair all the 2,500 LP schools which we have done in the last 5 years, which was left for the last 30 years untouched. For the first time there was a concerted effort by any government to repair all the government LP schools, almost 2,500 of them, within a matter of 5 years. All of this will not matter, as the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister said, that if drugs is there in the life of our youth, it destroys not just them, but it destroys the family and destroys the society and destroys the future and all the plans that we have for the youth. So many mission programs that we have. The Northeast Olympics we've had, the Meghalaya Games we've had in the last 5 years twice, and we're going to have it every year. The different programs that we're having for selection of youth in terms of their sports talent. The grassroots music program that we're having. The entrepreneurship program we're having for prime in the urban areas and also in the rural areas. All of these are connected to you. But while we do all of this, if we don't take care of this menace, nothing will matter. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We need to realize that it's not just about what we are doing out here that's going to be impacting not just the drug menace, but it is actually, as mentioned by Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, the future of our society, of our state, and of our country. And at this point in time, I would like to really congratulate and thank the Home Department, especially our respected DGP, Bishnoyji. After his joining in as the DGP of Meghalaya, he has been personally involved in ensuring that the most stringent actions are taken to ensure that any kind of drug trafficker, anybody who's involved in drugs, strict action is taken against them. And during this last couple of years, we have seen huge quantities. He was mentioning 18 kgs of heroin. About 2,000 youths are affected by that. So that's about 36,000 youths have been saved. Apart from that, on a rough average, the market value, depending on the location it is, of 1 kg of heroin can go even up to about 10 crores. So 18 kgs is about 180 crores worth of just heroin has been caught by the state police. And therefore, I think it's absolutely necessary. And let us all appreciate the work and let us give a round of applause to our officials who have done a great work. Congratulations to the police department on the great work, and I urge you to continue your endeavors and your work in ensuring that you are able to control this menace. But while the enforcement agencies are doing their part, they can keep catching people. But we need to realize that the supply and the demand, what we are doing in the enforcement part is in between. There is a huge effort. I don't want to go into details of that because those are more matters related to MHA and at the national level, but we are privy to it. And a lot of efforts are being made at the national level to ensure that the supply aspect is impacted. But while we do that, as mentioned and seen in all the presentations, we need to ensure that not only do we take care of the demand side by ensuring that we're able to bring in awareness among the youth, we need to also realize that there are 3 lakh people and about 40,500 of our youths who are dependent on drugs. We need to take care of them. As mentioned by DGP, empathy is the word. We need to realize that as a society, we need to be aware about what's happening. We need to accept what's happening. We cannot turn a blind eye to it. We need to first accept that there is a problem, face it, and find a solution together. It may take some time. It may not be easy. But if we put our heart and our minds together, I am very, very certain and sure that we will be able to achieve the dream of having a drug-free Meghalaya. This entire program of DREAM, which has been mentioned by our social welfare department, it's an acronym. I hope you understand. It's a drug reduction, elimination, and action mission. It's an acronym for the actual efforts that are going to be put in. And it's a 80-page long document. So what you saw in the presentation is just the tip of the iceberg.
You know, before the start of this function, I saw the host standing over here, just close to the stand. I can't see properly. Then me and Sam, you know what happened? We said, why not they remove the flowers? Then you can see us properly. Thank God it has happened. Now you can see Barbara Stone as he is, the shortest person in the state of Meghalaya, I should say. So friends, just a few points I would like to say. Drugs, abuse, and illicit trafficking keep increasing day by day, which ultimately, I think the very same month last year, the state government has declared that fighting against drugs, abuse, and illicit trafficking, we need to have a dedicated team. And ultimately, I'm so happy, 1 year exactly, we are able to come out with a documentation in the name of dreams. We need to fight this very menace holistically, socially, and also politically. If we don't, it will be too late. And I'm so happy, I think on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, when they talk about the subject of drugs, they decided to join the government and to eradicate this very dangerous habits which is spreading throughout the state of Meghalaya. So friends, I'm so happy to see that the KSU is partnership with us. I call upon all the stakeholders, other NGOs, all religious groups, religious leaders in the state of Meghalaya. Let us jointly walk together. And I'm sure within no times we'll be able to make Meghalaya a total state free from drugs. I stopped smoking last month, 25th of May. So yesterday I counted, it's now exactly 1 month. Then when I seen, while preparing this document, the dreams, I look at it, tobacco also is one of the drugs. So I said, oh my God, I'm looking after home. Number one, I should stop myself. So I did it. I would like to request others also to join me. Let us make Meghalaya the healthiest state in India. And before I conclude my speech, my appreciation goes to the police team. under the leadership of our DGP, Dr. Bisnoy, who works tirelessly to see that we are able to eliminate this dangerous habit, who silently destroy our life individually, and also who silently destroy the family and the society.